Hello guys, we're back for another interview. As we said early on, we promise it and we do it. So we're back for another big interview here with my two guests. So I'll give them some time to introduce themselves, then we'll get to the topic of discussion today. So welcome and enjoy the discussion. I'll begin here.
So hi everyone, my name is Snaider. I'm a social worker and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Timothy. I'm a human resource officer.
Good. So with that brief introduction, these two guys here, human resource manager, social worker, they have a day-to-day interaction with human beings. And so we have a social topic of discussion today. And our discussion today is a topic that has heated and has been daily discussed. And the topic is feminism. So we're going to discuss about feminism. So briefly, we'll begin with a quick introductions here on what these two guys think feminism is. And then we'll catch up from there. So we'll begin here. So what's feminism to your view?
Well, I have one unique, not really unique, but consistent definition about feminism. And I think my definition will come out of the misconceptions that people have about feminism.
Okay.
So one of the misconceptions is that women are against men in this sense of trying to overpower and rule them. So it's a matter of stepping on someone else's position. And I think that is very wrong. So I believe feminism is about standing up for equality, equality of right, equality of responsibility, equality of opportunities, and equality of accountability. So someone is able to be given proper opportunities, equal opportunities, both male and female. And a feminist is someone who's trying to remove the status quo that men are there to rule over women.
Okay.
And I think it's a very upcoming topic, especially in the 21st century, where women are being empowered to speak for themselves.
Sure. Yeah. So we'll hear his view about how he defines feminism and then catch up.
Mine is very simple because it's not my cup of tea. But this is what I think feminism is. That it is an agenda to push forward, to front women to be able to match up with the far men have come. Okay. I think that's my simple definition of feminism.
Good. So I read a quick one here from Google. It is feminism is a belief in full social, economic, political equality for women. So here they will talk about social, economic, and political. So, and then you realize that in the world today, 21st century, there is a lot of branches of feminism. People are taking feminism to high levels, to low levels. People are trying to fight to ensure that women are empowered to the same level as men. But all of us are not new to the discussion about you have empowered girl child so much, so what about boy child? And then, so let's begin it there. So are the feminists doing it more, or should you blame the feminists? Because today people are saying you've forgotten the boy child. So what's your view on that?
Well, I'll try to discuss it in relation to the beginnings of feminism.
Okay.
So feminism began around the 1890s, 1920s, somewhere there. And the main agenda of feminism was just about the same opportunities you're giving to men, please give us. And I think this equality or inequality that was there between men and women was just historical stuff, because men are deemed to be physically fit, so give them more things to do, give them more money, give them more opportunities, they're able to do it better than women. So I believe it's a matter of engineering in a more quicker way women to be able to realize themselves and know that if they're given these opportunities, they're able to perform in the same capacity as men can. But the problem is, through socialization, it's now revolved into an issue of mindset. That I'm born, as a woman, I'm born knowing that I'm weak. And the social construct of the society ingrained this same thought in me, even as I grew up to be an adolescent and adult.
So time to time, repeated.
Yes, it's just repeated in me. And I think it's like biology. Biology is this concept of a memory cell.
Okay.
So that if you ingrain, if a memory or if a thought, an impulse is passing through a cell several times, then it's like a channel is created.
Sure.
And this channel to be covered, it takes effort, it takes a long period of time.
Sure.
So I think what we're just doing is telling men and society, get out of the way, let us do our own stuff.
Society and men has been hindering you.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about, are feminists overdoing it, or because people are saying you've forgotten the boy child?
Okay. I don't think genuine feminists are overdoing it.
Okay.
I think there's an illustration of different ideas or different agendas on the good. Like you saw the famous line that goes, "We started with the spirit, but we're finishing with the body."
Okay.
So the same thing I normally see. Actually, I see most loudest feminists. Most of them are bitter. The bitter ones do not understand the cause. The bitter ones are fighting for the injustice they face through the men they've encountered with. But I think the initial idea, according to what I have gathered, is genuine people seeking for honest desires to have an impact in the society that they have been denied by men, or presumably so. Because maybe there's no one, the setup of the society, as she said, somehow wired these women not to think they can do that field. So over time, when these other ones realize, oh, we can equally do it, decided to push for this agenda, to show up and say, hey, we can do it as well. So it didn't really mean they didn't have the opportunity, maybe, okay, from the onset, but because the idea came out to be opposing what men have been doing over time, it comes out to feel negative. And I think that's why most feminists have a negative reception to men.
Okay.
So,
I want to disagree.
Okay.
In a sense that I think some violence is justified. In the sense that
Some violence.
yes,
Okay.
like when we say some feminists are too radical or they're too violent, I think the issue comes in as a matter of like a man naturally cannot allow to be removed from a position he has been taught this is yours. So like if I know I'm the head of the house and then some angry woman, quote by quote angry woman, is coming to tell me that no, the woman is also, I won't allow such a thing.
but you see, that's
Because
not
I feel something will be stripped away from me.
You think that's what he's saying?
I mean, anyone can feel that. If another woman came and tried to take you out of your position, you won't be smiling because it's your fellow woman. So the idea there is not really who is in the position, the idea is it's self. So it narrows down to the man, not really to the position, not really the man. So the digression I get is the charge would be different. If a woman would come and take you from your position, you won't see it as a feminist act, an anti-feminist. But if a man came and fought for the same position, the focus will shift. And you look at it, why is it because he's a man? Is it because he thinks he can do it better than me? But simply the same battle, another woman would have fought for it. So that is the infiltration I'm talking about when we're talking about the female agenda. If we are able to disintegrate the two, okay? When talking about equality, you are a female doctor, you're a female social worker, and a female male worker. You can do the same duties, you can do the same things, okay? So that's equality. But when you come for the same job, for the same thing, and should you face the same challenge, but this time from a man, and then you feel this is feminism, I mean, it's anti-feminism, that's a different agenda altogether.
Sure.
So what I'm saying basically is, we are not against feminism. We are just against feminism that is spiced with some fight against men for nothing, for doing nothing.
And then we're going to know what that looks like. So in a moment, I'll ask you the question. Do you agree that patriarchy has existed? Like men domineering
Domination.
Yes.
social,
So this
political,
is,
and economic
yes,
sector?
yes, I agree. And I don't know who came up with patriarchy.
And if you agree, what's the reason you think?
Yes, that's what I'm going to say. For example, as she talked about social setup, You see, we don't live in
a vacuum,
right? So we come from somewhere.
Yes.
And when those people had this, for example, in the African setup, especially when people are moving, like the settlement, the cases, the immigration, people are going to settle. Activities were maybe gathering and hunting, you know, how you get food and all that. So physically proven, men would chase after a kill better than women. So if you send this family sent their women to go fetch for meat from the bush, and these other ones sent men, one family will sleep without food. Okay? One family might sleep without food. So this is like an adaptation. So this setup kind of adjusted the reason to, okay, fine, we'll send our men to go get the antelope or whatever they kill. When they bring it home, the woman will prepare. Yeah. So it went like that, and so some more labor-intensive duties were presumably for men, and those less labor-intensive were presumably for women. The same thing happened in cultures where like even when you go to war, yeah, men would go to war, and those who don't go would be considered. Those men who don't go to war would be considered women. Okay. You get the point. Yes. So that's the social setup that kind of made over time what we happen to see today.
So you agree that there is patriarchy in society and it's a social construct.
We are patriarchy social.
It is a social construct.
Okay, fine. Not only social construct.
What else? Is it based on fact? Is it really true that a woman?
Right?
Is it true? Is it really true? Is it really true that a woman cannot go for a cut and come home with?
Yeah.
No, we need to see them go.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the question is, has patriarchy existed in society, and what's the reason you think?
I think patriarchy has existed because of two reasons.
Because of 2 reasons, yeah.
Reason number one, culture, the way he has mentioned.
Yes.
Reason number two, religion.
Religion.
So culture, I think I'll use the example and the question you asked.
Yes.
That there's this man, okay, let's run to get food. Who was the man?
Yeah.
Either because he has physical strength or all those things. But the question I have in my mind, what about those women who never had husbands? How did they feed their own families? Like if I am a woman, I had only children who are girls, and we have like things to do in the house, manly things called by code. Who does them? It's obviously the women who do them. So I think it's just a matter of giving them opportunity and getting out of giving them the opportunity and getting out of the way and making them realize that they can do it. So if a woman will go today and miss food, she will know that tomorrow, do you know what, I have to run faster to outrun the prey that I want to catch. So
your point is women can do the same thing as men.
Equally. So the point I'm trying to make is that these so-called gender roles came forth because some people saw their livelihood, they saw that how things are running, and they were like, okay, let's make laws that will guide us in a more systematic way. But the problem is, in putting that, you only consider the things that work only for men. Like, okay, the hunting, who does it better? Men. Why? It's the men who are told to go. So, in warfare, who does it better? It's men. Okay, then warfare is for men. So a girl, your culture, do you know what? If there's a girl who's running after a chicken, she'll be told, can you stop doing that? Go out to the kitchen and try to light firewood. Let your brother do it. So I'll grow up knowing that, this thing is not mine. And another thing is religion. I think religion is straightforward.
Come to religion in our next part. So you want to respond to her? Quickly, then we have a short break.
I think I'm not really responding, but I'm just giving my understanding on what she's saying.
Yes.
I think I can't deny the fact that there are something. Okay, men are fit to do some things that women cannot do.
So gender roles is okay.
For me, gender role is okay, and I don't define gender roles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think every family should define their own gender roles. We have to be gender aware. Okay, like I admit there is a man and a woman in my house.
Yes.
So the reality of gender is here. Okay, and if the reality of gender is present, then I admit as a man, physically or even mentally or wherever, the way society has framed me to be, there's a difference, okay? And if there's nothing wrong about it, I don't see a problem. Unless, in the social setup that I am, I am skewed towards stepping on this woman, thinking she's a lesser human or this, because she can't do ABCD, therefore I'm superior to her, then that's wrong. Okay? But if in my house I'm a man and I can cook better than her, it does not make me less of a man and her more of a woman, or even equal. Okay? On that sense, yeah. On that sense, like now because I can cook and can cook, then there's not, we are gender blind. We are not. She's a woman and I'm a man, and I'm physically fit for something.
They're all made for a woman, and you're talking about physically fit.
Yeah.
The example is hunting, war.
Yeah, for example, up to date, we have Maasai people who go to school, and we have ladies who go to school.
Yes.
Even when they go back, they still go to their separate
gender
setup. This tells you the power of culture in the society, isn't it? But we have not seen women going after the hand, but they are limited because of the already acceptable social setup, which is not wrong.
So it's not like it's true. Is it a fact that they can't do it?
No, I'm not saying, I've not proved it that they cannot do it.
Okay.
There are women who run faster than men.
True.
There are women who drive better. There are women who build better houses than men. So I'm not saying
it's a factual thing.
It's
a social thing.
It's a social setup. And my confidence and settle is
It's
if it's not wrong, if it
Oh,
works for our family,
that's okay.
And
So
I
the people fighting that and trying to say no,
they should fight the wrong things. Okay? Like, for example, in my house, my wife accepts me to be a husband and wife, and I don't see her as a lower being. I don't prejudice against her. I don't step on her, you understand? And she's okay with that. So we don't have a problem in the house. Why should she fight against me, assuming I'm the lead? Because there's no problem, you understand?
It's a problem that too.
A very big problem,
Okay.
and I think it emerges by I think by you just defining gender roles. I think gender roles should not be defined. I think when you starting to define gender roles, now you enter into a spectrum you can't solve, which is patriarchy.
Yes.
And I believe that if you start saying, like, you know what, you're in the house, if I'm a better cook and then this.
Do you believe we are gifted differently?
Just hold on.
I think the issues of being gifted and the issues of being gifted and the issues of role, I think they're two different
We're
things.
talking about that one in a second, about gifting and roles. Let her make the point.
And I think the point that feminism and everyone as a woman I'm trying to do or trying to fight for is don't define gender roles. If you start defining gender roles, you're entering into a ditch that you just think it's for an angry cause.
Okay.
Something like
Okay,
that.
so we do a quick break, then.
The break and wait.
So let me make his point quickly, then we'll have a break.
Well, if I'm getting her right, she's saying, if I tell you in this house, you will cook, and I will never enter into the kitchen, that's gender roles, that is wrong.
Okay.
That's a gender role that's wrong. Okay? Okay? But if by the make of who you are, you have interest in cooking, and therefore for this family enjoys your cooking more than it enjoys mine, it doesn't make me a lesser cook, but it makes you a good cook. Being good, cooking good and not cooking good, there's a difference, isn't it?
Sure.
So there's no point of me going to the kitchen cooking bad food just to prove that in this house there's no gender roles. You understand? We like good food in this house, and therefore if my wife cooks better than myself, why should I deny myself a good meal just because I want to prove a point?
So if the husband washes dishes very well, let him do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If he can do the cleaning in the house,
yes, I don't have a problem.
but does that happen? Does that even happen? So let's
happens,
have a break here and then we're going to come back. So thank you guys for watching. We'll come back right after this short break. We're back after short break. So I want us to delve into a different trajectory here. So we want to talk about religion and feminism or patriarchy, because when you discuss feminism, actually patriarchy has to come in, or sexism. So religion and feminism. So then you brought up the point. So let me begin with you.
Yeah, and I think religion is, I'm a religious person, yes, but I think religion is being used to foster inequality in a sense. And I think the evidence that people always have, which is true obviously, is the Bible.
So they have the Bible, the Quran,
yeah, the Bible, the
religious
Quran,
books.
Buddhist, whatever it is.
Yes.
Any religious book that you're ascribing to. And I think religion, from the first curse that Eve was given, that the man shall rule over you, and you shall give your desires to the man. So it created this gender class that the men are on top, the women are on the bottom. So anyone who deems patriarchy or anyone who supports patriarchy will always use religion as their source of comfort.
Yes.
And because God, I think people say God is not supposed to be questioned. That is also subject to debate. So God has said, don't question it. Just sit down and relax. And you're like, okay, I think you put question marks. They're like, should we really not ask questions? Okay, you'll ask when you go to heaven. I think that's another. So it's like women are doomed to suffer on this earth as long as they exist.
So that is religion.
Religion.
The religionist view is that women should suffer, period.
You are
And
suffering being full stop.
And when you get to the discussion of religion, the problem is a Muslim who is watching this going to say, hey, you've not read the Quran, and that's not what the Quran says, of our own interpretation. So we're going to try and limit ourselves to Christianity,
Yeah, to
because I
Christianity,
believe
what
all
we
of
know.
us are Christians, and talk more about what the Bible gives us. At least we can defend that. So you're saying from Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is giving the view of a woman being
Actually, it's
lower.
supporting patriarchy
Patriarchy.
and telling female, be subordinate to your husband.
So when you're trying to fight this system, the card that is raised
yeah, the
is
card that
thus
is
says
raised,
the Lord.
religion, and that says the Lord, you can't question it.
Don't
Because who
question.
told you you can question God?
Okay.
So you're bitter with God on that?
So,
Not really.
are you bitter with God?
No, I'm not bitter with God, but I think
So how do you
we
deal with God?
misunderstand God. Maybe we are misunderstanding
Maybe.
it.
So let's get your view. Religion, the Bible specifically, Christianity, and
In the
feminism.
Bible, there are a lot of instances recorded in the Bible that brings forth a patriarchal society and would rather portray a society where
Men are top
and women follow.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Bible is not devoid of culture does not mean God supports patriarchy.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
You see, when God is giving the curse, as you mentioned, God was addressing an already sinful,
Yes.
fallen state of
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But initially, before that, you don't see any of those in the creation story.
The man and the woman.
So I
yeah.
believe the Bible,
Mhm.
the Bible is intention. Actually, for us to get evidence of patriarchy is because the Bible is trying to be as honest as possible,
Okay.
to include even injustices that are happening in the society, for us to have such conversations today. Okay?
Yeah.
So that God allows these things to be in the Bible so that we can be able to see how much sin has cost humanity. Understand? But I don't believe the Bible is pro. Okay? Because the Bible does not use people who did not exist in the society. It used people who existed in the society, and this society happened to be patriarchal. So the fact that if those stories were used in like from Norway, as I said, maybe we'll have less patriarchal incidents happening in the Bible.
So it's about the context.
It's really the
And when
context.
God is addressing
Yeah,
people
but I don't
already in a
think
mess.
God. The Bible is a story about God and
Yeah.
Christ, and I don't think those they are pro sitting on women because
Okay.
you can't create something to sit on, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
And I think
the question is then, how do you deal with feminism today, telling Christians or religions that, hey, look at what the Bible says, forget about it, let's talk about today. So where's your evidence for equal men and women?
Sure, and I think the way you said context, I think people, Christians majorly, they're always fast to bring direct applications from the Bible without considering, let's say, the culture. Because if you look at the Bible is a Hebrew culture, Hebrew culture. So I think something that is always lacking in Christians, I'm not speaking for every Christian, but for those who I've interacted with, is that the aspect of consistency is not there. Why aren't you consistent in bringing the robes that Moses wore and give it to us to wear?
Sure.
Why aren't you bringing the food that they were eating and giving us to eat? Why do you want to bring this patriarchy thing that was there?
So if they choose patriarchy, let them
They
be
choose patriarchy,
consistent.
something that suits them.
So let them be consistent.
Let them be
Pick everything.
consistent. Pick everything.
Take the robes, do the things.
We keep the robes. Let's go to the wilderness. Let's be keeping all the feasts, the Passover.
yes.
I'll be happy to eat the manna if people know how to keep it. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of consistency.
Okay.
So I think you agree with that.
No, I don't have a problem. I also tell you also to keep the straight line. That's easy to solve.
So the guy is talking about consistency here.
Yeah, consistency.
So quickly, I want us to look at these three branches. I think these are the top branches of feminism. Feminism has been divided into three major branches. So we have cultural feminism, liberal feminism, and radical feminism. So I just read for you what cultural feminism is and give you your views on it. And then we go to the next branch, and then the next one, then we'll close this discussion here. So cultural feminism is a variety of feminism which emphasizes essential differences between men and women. So the first emphasis is men and women, their frame, when you use frame, that is different. Then it says, based on biological differences, majorly in reproductive capacity. Cultural feminism attributes to those differences distinctive and superior virtues in women. So let me just give an example to make it clear. So you've had people saying women, they're very good in caring or very compassionate. So let them have them in this organization because we need empathy, compassion, kindness, caring.
So for this purpose, we'll have a woman.
Yes, for this purpose, we'll have a woman. For this purpose, we need to carry 50 bags cement, so then we need men. So that is what cultural feminism is. Yes, it's trying to support women, but agreeing that there are differences, and then we need women for specific things in an organization. So I'm beginning with him.
I think it goes back to, I think when you look mostly, I think when I was also studying, in my class, 90% of people were in social work were women. And I think I've never questioned it until I came out here and started considering why are most social workers women? Why most nurses? When you go to an engineering class, everyone is male. When you go to a medicine class, everyone is male. And I think this is just a matter of the social norms that have been engraved into the mind of a woman, even in education systems. Like, if a woman defeats a man in class, he'll be told, guy, how can you allow a woman to see?
You're not a real man.
You're not a real man. You should be on top of the class and command respect from women.
So your point is you don't agree with cultural feminism?
No, I think it puts so much spectrum or division between man and woman, which is so dangerous.
This is so dangerous. But do you think about cultural feminism?
I'm open, because me, I'm pro what works.
So you support cultural feminism?
I'm not supporting.
Let me ask you, pro what works for you, or?
Yeah, look, in this case, the industry, you said, what does the statement there? You see, there are rules that set up a culture. Okay. As long as it's not evil for me, I don't have a problem. If even the women themselves are okay, not yet. The challenge with this proposition I'm making is if the women are less enlightened, and because of that they don't know better.
Sure, because that's my next question. Someone can be enslaved and agree to that.
Yeah. But what if both parties are doing it blindly? So both genders need enlightenment. That's why I always say.
If they're doing it blindly, then the question, these people are trying to enlighten these people and say, oh, you guys wake up on occasion. This is the real thing. So that is the point.
So the challenge always comes. The challenge always comes where, if you want to front an idea, you come from the opposite, and it loses. It sends me to the defense. The moment the person who's being attacked, like the first example she said, if the person who he's in the hands of leadership at that moment, or even at the point of making change is on the defense, it becomes difficult. For example, if you want to go and change a Maasai village, for example, or even the Turkana, and tell them, hey, it's wrong for you to allow young women to get married, let me press the logo. Okay? Or even teach them to get out of gender roles.
Yeah.
If you go and talk to the women, and then already their mindset as men elders in the society, they know women are children, and then you're going to talk about women trying to come home to share these ideas, the elder sees it as opposition. They don't see it as light.
So your point is,
so my point is,
out to men.
Yeah, reach out to people who are in control to make a difference at that point.
Who are in control at that point.
Yes, those are the people who will give the oppressed one opportunity.
But if you're ready to do that.
No, it takes time. You see, people, authority changes over time. Okay? Okay, authority changes over time. This one will be more restrictive. The other one will be liberal at some point. So the fact that this one will hear the message and want to change at that moment does not mean you stop because you force the position. Because the other reaction, if you approach the one who was oppressed, you're causing an uprising.
So what
and
do you do?
integrating families.
Are you going to approach only the people who have been on
No.
or you approach both? How do you do it?
You approach both.
Okay.
Okay? Like for what example can I use? So let's just take that. You talk to the women, tell them you're not supposed to be ABCDE. Okay? They go home that night and get beaten. For example, they get beaten.
Yes.
This man who's beating does not understand where she's coming from. If you tell the man, don't beat your wife, you can talk to her and she'll understand, and you guys can get into an agreement. You know? Then, at least she's not going to be beaten next time she shares. You get the point?
Yeah, I get it.
So the guards are down, you're making progress.
Okay.
But
what do you think of that? You should address men first because then.
I'm not saying fast because that's anti-feminist.
He's saying then you should. I mean, his point is you should at least try and address the people who have been there instead of putting more emphasis on the oppressed because the oppressed are going to uprise and turn everything upside down.
I think addressing men, as much as it will yield fruit, it will yield like 1%.
Long term.
Because I think it's short term because first of all, this man is in this position of power because this cultural norms is they've been there for generations. So you not see generations of people trying to change because this is something that grandfather told them, their father told them, their son told them. So I believe that in working especially with oppressed groups, I'll give an example. So I am a mother who has been in gender-based violence in my home. I've tried to share points with my husband, he has refused. I think the best thing for me to do, it may take me years to change this man and tell him, by then you know you should do this.
Years of suffering.
Yeah,
so
years of suffering. I think the best thing for me to do is to, no, you can. I think when it comes to issues of legal rights, I don't think it's an issue.
Okay.
But I think the point I'm trying to make, me having a son will really do much good if I tell this son, but then you know what? You should.
But you see, you're avoiding the problem.
I'm not trying to avoid the problem.
So what do you do with the son? You tell him?
The son should be able to learn that men and women are equal by me bringing them up.
So the man is going to take a long time, but now if you have the parenting role to
yes, the parenting role to this son,
teaching him
that you and your sister are equal.
Okay.
I may try to talk with this man, then this man may want to change, quote by quote, go out there in the Barasa la Wazee, and then the men will be like, guy, how can you allow a woman to sit on you? And I'm saying it's very hard to change such a system.
There's nothing easy. There's nothing that's very easy. Even bringing up the son, you're not going to spend the time with him. He's going also to meet a son who's been raised by a patriarchal father.
No, but I think he's more vulnerable to people.
Yes. Let me tell you, many children identify with their peers outside home. At least from my experience. Like, how many times did my dad tell me, don't be a friend to this guy? But I will see that friend because I identify with him more than my dad.
Let's bring in another branch of feminism quickly, liberal feminism. Liberal feminism, also called mainstream feminism, it will be championed as mainstream, is the major thing that people talk about. It's a main branch of feminism defined by its focus on achieving gender equality through political and legal reform within the framework of liberal democracy. So here, they're talking about seeking equality through political and legal reform. They're not interested with how you operate at home. I mean, if a woman is suffering, if a woman is suffering at home, that let it be.
It's like a top-up.
Yeah. So if you're having more women in politics, more women are doing things outside here in a legal framework, then that is the better. We have achieved equality. But we don't care about individual women trying to fight. You get my point? You get the point about it. So what do you think about it?
Okay, it's okay.
It's okay?
It's okay. Of course, it's like they've chosen their struggle. You see, they've chosen to front this agenda from this perspective. So that does not mean the cultural one are less effective or the materialistic feminism are less effective. So these ones have chosen to handle the leadership and the political space.
So what about the woman at home suffering?
So let me get there. Okay. So the assumption in this group is that whenever we have women at the top, they will influence policy making, like the affirmative actions we were talking about.
Yeah.
They'll make changes on the top, and actually, since an influential woman is at the top, can speak and she can influence from that position many women on the ground. So if those women are empowered, they get those positions from that point, they are able to make positive change on the ground. You understand? So I don't have a problem with liberal feminists as long as they stay unadulterated. Unadulterated, I mean like unhealthy competition, bias from the focus.
So what happens to individual woman who may be suffering?
The woman on the ground.
Yeah.
You see, one person cannot change everything at once. Okay? We have to run departments. I will be at the front of liberal feminism. You will be at the front of this area of feminism, and you are at the front of the other.
So you're saying having all of them mingled together is going
is good. So one aspect cannot win.
But you see
my
culture of feminism already, they are not in agreement with liberal feminism.
And that's the problem, because feminism is not supposed to be an agenda. Let me tell you why.
So the culture of feminists believe that they are gender roles. The liberal don't believe so, but what are they working for? They're working for a corporate thing for women. But when it comes to individual women, they don't have a voice. So,
like when you say they don't have a voice, is it that they are not aware of those needs of the individual women? They disregard those.
They approach these issues from
a legal point of view. Yeah, that does not negate the fact that.
But they don't care about what's going on.
We don't know if they don't care.
They don't care.
Their main point is to change these policies.
Yes, is from the position. But you see, the same women who are approaching feminism from the legal point they are women. They are also women when they go back home from the cameras, from the front of the office. They are the single women in the home.
So you're saying it's fine?
Yeah, it's fine because
the culture of feminism.
Culture of feminism I have issues because I think there need changes. But this one,
okay with it.
From policies, like for example, I was telling you the affirmative action needs women for it to pass. So if there are no women at the top who will speak sense to particular men in that position, we'll never have these things. So we can't fault them. Why are they talking about this other woman?
Liberal feminism?
So I think liberal feminism, I think the way you've mentioned, I think that's the point I had in the mind. It negates these millions of people who are going through this crisis. And it's just a focus on as long as we make policies, as long as we are in front of the courts championing, let's say Roe and Wade and all those things, everything is fine.
Yeah.
So I think that is so like a horse, that is one-sidedness. You know, get these millions of people are suffering. I believe they are fighting for the cause of women, but it's not even reaching there. It's just a matter of when we are in boardrooms, discuss these policies, put on signatures and stamps. There's no proper involvement of the grassroots women. So I think
you don't agree with it. That's the point.
No.
You don't agree with it?
No.
What do you think they should do?
Now, we can't because the final brand that we make up, because of time. So you're going to make a point. Don't forget it. So radical feminism. Radical. Yeah, it's radical. It's a perspective within feminism that calls for a radical reordering of society in which male supremacy is eliminated in all social and economic contexts, while recognizing that women's experiences are also affected by other social divisions such as race, class, sexual orientation. So this is a branch of feminism that is trying to say, let us reorder afresh the society so that this idea of men dominating is done. We have a new fresh thoughts about who is a woman, who is a man, that they're equal, they can do these things equally. What do you think?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because it does not. Okay, it's not. The reason why I'm saying it's ridiculous is it's radical and does not admit the process for growth. Okay, so you can't come today to this culture and say, hey, you have been doing this thing wrong, and then from today we are going to do this. You'll cause a crisis. Actually, you see, there's a journey to independence. There's a journey to independence. So you can be radical, but admit that the journey has to be taken all through. For example, you don't correct something from upside down by changing it upside. Like for example, okay, fine, this society has been domineering. Now we want women to domineer. You don't make a problem by changing it upside down. I don't know if I'm making sense.
That's not what I'm saying.
What I hear it saying is we are radical and therefore we have. Oh, that's what you said.
No,
that's
I mean it says we want to restructure society so that society has been there knowing that man should do this and woman should do this. So let us restructure the society whereby if a man can drive, a woman can drive. So let's restructure and have society know that a man can do this, a woman can do this, so that going forward.
So where is the radical?
I mean, it is.
I think that is the point I want to make. I think the word radical there is misleading everything, and I think the word radical does not really mean we are using force or we are using weapons
Just being
or doing. Perhaps me, I think I'll tend to agree with radical feminism.
Just for the sake of context, they are called radical not because actually they are radical.
They don't have radical action.
Yeah,
No.
but they are called by these other branches who see them as
radical and
because of what they want to
exactly. I think that was the
so,
so I'm calling you radical because I think you're too extreme from what I'm comfortable with. So I'm like, I don't think even they should be called radical.
Okay.
Because I think that is the true essence of removing this system that is supporting patriarchy. It's like, let's start afresh. And I think this starting afresh can mean, I'll give an example, if it's in a company whereby positions are there, try to forge women leaders who can be able to bring about equality. Let us not always think that the CEO of a company has to be a man. I think that is the norm in Kenya and most of the ways.
President has to be a man.
If I see, I think there's always this notion with my friends, if they see a woman driving a big car like a Prado, either this woman is divorced, or she's having problems with the husband, or she's being sponsored. I'm like, why can't a woman drive a big car?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. If a woman is a CEO, then it's like, let's investigate this woman. Is she married? Okay, she has been divorced. That's why.
That is why.
And I'm like, that is so lame. So radical, I think the word radical, the way we have said, it's these people looking from the sidelines, thinking, I don't like this thing, let's call it radical. And
so
they don't call themselves radical.
No.
There's no one who says we are radical feminists.
They don't come like, oh guys, we're radical here.
Okay,
So
by their actions you see radicalism. That's the need to have urgency in change, which is okay.
Yeah. Let's have a final thoughts on this discussion on feminism, your conclusions on it, and your view.
I support feminism,
Yeah.
but don't disintegrate the society.
Okay.
Because there are going to be more problems than we wanted from the beginning. Actually, from my view, I now see there's also toxic masculinity, okay? Which is bad. So there's also toxic feminism. Like, don't mix these things, and there's a good agenda. Let's culture women. Let's mold women to be the best they can be. But don't make it a fight, agenda fight or something. When a man hurts you, look at him as a man who's hurt you, not a patriarch man who's messed you up. It's not a feminism thing, it's just man, woman thing. And also, before I forget, I don't want it to go without mentioning that God is so loving to create man to dominate over a woman. Okay?
lovely.
Yeah, he did create man to dominate over a woman.
Oh, so you're saying,
Okay.
I get the point.
Yeah, he is so loving
That
both
he
of
can't
us the
do
same
that.
way. He can't love a woman less to let her be taken
Lord.
by a man.
Yeah.
So in as much as the Bible has incidents of this, God is not in the mix. It's just expressing God allows these people to be part of the story. Otherwise, God is not anti-feminist.
So Timothy is saying God is a good guy.
God is a good guy.
Okay. Your final thoughts on this?
Sure. So I'll use an illustration. Two things. And I had this from a very nice friend that you have, let's go back to 1860s. There's this issue of slavery. There's two groups, white men, black men. So me being a black woman, obviously I'm in this group of black men, I'll be really happy to fight for the cause of setting black slaves free. And then the white person will be angry or will be very hurt that why is being set free? If you're set free, you'll come and step over me and do the same things I was doing for you while in slavery. Bringing this or comparing this with the issue of men, women, you have two groups. one is on the domineering side, the other one is being oppressed. So I always feel men come from this point of a white man, that if I set this woman free, give him the opportunities, they'll come and sit over me. And I think that is dangerous. Because the same cause that was being fought by Black Lives Matter, the civil rights movement in 1960, Martin Luther King and all those guys, it was just give me the opportunity and let the society be equal for both of us.
If it's education,
give us both. If it's about going for scholarships, let us both get it. If it's about, if you apply for an engineering course, let not my name define how I'm supposed to get that position. Yes, my admission criteria. So I think, or I believe strongly, that is the same cause feminism fight for. The same cause that black men are fighting for. Please get out of the way, let us have our own freedoms, let us have our own rights. And I think if we're in the issue of race, most of the men will be agree, will run with everyone, let us fight for this cause. But when it comes to the issue of setting a woman free, gender, people are now starting having question marks. How will she behave at all? So my final thought, I think feminism should really, I think I take time and people should take time to clearly understand the cause of feminism. All these misconceptions should get out. And I think the way you've mentioned, toxic masculinity just comes up as a counter work to feminism. They're not there like to start saying women are, they're just there to fight what?
No, toxic masculinity.
I know
against masculinity. There's no feminism.
Yes, I know that masculinity of like giving it to women. I know this guy on Twitter doing all those stuff, and I think that is dangerous. You're setting men for a loop that they can't handle, and I think women are now more empowered to speak for themselves. And me, I'm for the cause. Give women the opportunity, give them the voice, and they'll be able to defend themselves. You don't have to defend me so that I'm safe. The same way, if I'm an adult or I was a teenager, my father will tell me I'm with my brother, then my father will tell me, please come back at 6. But this guy can continue working until 8. I'm like, what sets him? He can also go out there and get raped. He can also do all those things. The same way, I can also go out there and get laid and do all, and like face all those calamities. So I suggest, I think the way the debate was in high school, this guy to move to this side.
So guys, we're bringing this to a close. You want to respond that quickly?
No, I'm just telling her, okay. When you talk about safety, both men and women are
like vulnerable.
Yeah, they're all vulnerable. And as I was telling my friend, if me and you go out at night and we meet thugs, they will hurt me more than I will hurt you because you are a less harmful target to them than I am. And women won't complain about it.
Is that true? Because
and the point is, society has also told thugs, please attack men, they're the threat.
It's true. Like, I can fight a thug better than you can.
I can't do that.
If you are able, it takes more extra energy for you to fight a thug.
And come on, you say that's not true.
Okay, fine, if she can fight, but how many of you can fight in the same situation?
And that's the problem with social
We're going to debate right now here. So what about the Timo says God is a good guy? So what do you think about religion and feminism? God a good guy?
God did not make religion feminine.
I think in matters of religion, God started with equality, he's a good person, and I think he's leading us there. So we should be fighting for the cause God is trying to fight for.
In this instance that is saying man dominates women here,
no,
so
God is
God a good guy, but
no.
He's bad? Yeah. Come on. So it's fun. So we bring it to a close here. Thank you guys, and we always request you to watch this thing to the end. Subscribe, share your comments down there, make the discussion going, and subscribe. So we bring this to a close. There have been my 2 guests here. It's been hot. Snaider, social worker here, and Timothy, human resource manager. So thank you guys. Bye bye. See you next time for our next interview.